Welcome to this tutorial on creating equations through LaTeX. You see three windows as usual. I have created a 12-point size article class document. I am using AMS math package. I am also using the CC licenses package for Creative Commons copyright statement as here. Make title creates the title page. New page command takes the rest of the document to a new page. There are many ways to create equations. I will use the command align star to create equations. Let us begin with the matrix differential equation consisting of four components. Line star frac d by dt of begin B matrix x underscore 1, next line x underscore 2 and B matrix. Let me close this line. Let us compile it. So we have created d by dt of x1, x2. Let us now augment the vector with two more components. We do it as follows. Next line x3, next line x4. Save it, compile it. So I have four components. Let me now say that this is equal to the right hand side matrix begin B matrix zero, 0, 1, 0. Next line 0, 0, 0, 1, and then let's close this matrix. Save it. So I have this. So I have written the first two rows. It is always a good idea to compile after every few small additions so that we have not made a mistake. Note that the align star environment takes the role of the dollar signs. For example, we did not enter the dollar sign at all. As a matter of fact, we should not enter the dollar sign within the align star environment. Let us add a third line to the matrix on the right hand side and illustrate this idea. Zero dollar minus gamma 0, 0. So there are four entries. Let's compile it. It comes and says missing dollar inserted. What we will do is let's come here, get rid of these dollar signs, save it, exit this compilation by this X, recompile it, and note that minus gamma has come. So we need one more line here. We'll put that 0 alpha without dollar sign 0, 0. Okay. All right. Now this is the way to do that. Let us compile. Let's complete this equation. I have few more terms here. Let me just see if it is here. Yeah, it's here. Let's cut this, put this here. Let's see what happens when I compile this. All right. So this is the model of an inverted pendulum. what do we do when we have more than one equation? Okay, so let us add one more align statement, and I have written this equation here. Let me bring it from there. Okay, here is this equation. So let me say begin align star. Let's cut this, copy this, close this align, we compile it. When I compile it, I get the second equation appearing. There are two problems with this. There is a large gap between the two equations. Also, we may want to align the equations. In view of these observations, we put both of these equations into a single align star environment. So we'll do this as follows. So delete this, save this, compile it. Now what has happened is both the equations have come on the same line. We will take care of that by telling LaTeX to split this by the reverse slash, two of them. When I compile it, now these have gone to second equation. But the equations are not aligned. Suppose that we want to align the equal to sign. Suppose we want to align these two signs. We put an ampersand symbol in front of the equal to signs. Here it is. Let's put it. And then we'll put it here also. Put the ampersand. Let's compile this. Now notice that both of them are aligned. Suppose that we want to introduce some text in between the equations without upsetting the alignment. This can be achieved using the intertext command. So we remove, oh, we made a mistake here. Delta mu has come here. So what we should do is, let us first put this properly, compile this. Alright, delta mu has come there. U of t is here. Now we want to introduce some text between these two. So the line separator slash slash is removed, and in that place we introduce this text that we want to do. We want to include. Let's take this text and put it there. Whatever text we want to put appears in braces with the intertext command. Note that the opening brace has to be closed. Not closing the brace is a common mistake made by the beginners. Let's compile this. So here is the text, and you also have the equations aligned. Note also the use of $sign within the intertext command. Intertext is like running text, so this is not really a part of align environment. You need to include dollars here. These equations don't have numbers. In fact, the star in the align star command has told LaTeX not to put the equation numbers. Let us remove the star and see what the align environment does. Let's remove the star here. Let's also remove the star here. Let's see what happens. So equation numbers have appeared automatically. We may want to refer to them. So for example, let's say we want to refer to them. So I have this here. Suppose this is the second equation I want to discretize. So I write this statement. Let me take this here. below this, let me put it. Let me compile it. So it says we will now discretize the PID controller given in equation 2. The equation numbers, unfortunately, may change by insertion or deletion of equations. To demonstrate this, let us suppose we include an equation here. // a equals b, and then we'll delete these lines. Let's compile this. So now I have a equals b, second equation. Now this has become the third equation. Here we have hard-coded that equation 2 has to be discretized, but this is no longer the second equation. Hard coding of equation numbers in referencing always has this problem. This is solved by the label command. So let us come here, and here at the end of the equation introduce label equation PID, and then here I write in equation reference, the command is ref, and whatever that comes here, label, should appear here also, again within the braces, equation PID. Let's see what happens when I compile it. On compiling it, we see question marks here. On second compilation, see what has happened here. Now it has become 3. On second compilation, the numbers become correct. This is similar to what we saw in table of contents. Let us now delete the a equals b equation. Let us get rid of this also. Let's compile it. This equation 2 is gone, but you still have this 3. On first compilation, the reference gives the previous number. On second compilation, the numbers become correct. The labels are case sensitive. For example, here I have called it equation PID. PID is in capitals. Let's change this to small PID. What happens now is it says that it doesn't know that. It's only that these have to be identical, these need not be characters. For example, suppose I want to give numbers here. Let me just put 100. Let me put 100, save it, compile it. Okay, it doesn't know it yet. In the first compilation, if I compile it second time, it will know. Numbers are the same. In a similar way, we can create labels for sections, subsections, and so on. So let us do that. Let's demonstrate this with section. Let's do it here. Section. This is first section. Label. Let me put sec 100. And let me go to the end of this document here and say section ref sec 100 shows how to write equations. Save it here. Section question mark, it shows how to write equations. On next compilation, this is taken care of. So section 1, this number is same as this number. So this works for sections, subsections, and so on. In fact, any environment that has a number associated with it. All right, let's delete these. Let's compile these once again. We will now see how to accommodate long equations. So I already have written it here. Let me just go there at the end of the document. Okay, here it is. Okay, so let me add this. Let me put it here. Let's see what happens when I compile it. So I have a third equation that I added here. It's a long equation. It's a long equation, so it doesn't fit into one line. So let us break it into two. The way to do that is, let us break it here. Let's break it here. Slash slash, and come here. And I'm putting an assign, putting an align with this ampersand. Let me save this. Let me compile it. See that this equation has been broken into two parts. And I am aligning it with plus sign. All the equal signs and the plus signs are aligned now. Unfortunately, we have equation numbers in both parts. Suppose that we don't want the number in the first line. Supposing we don't want this number. Include the command no number before this slash slash symbol. I do this as follows: no number. Save this. Let me compile this. See that equation number is gone. This has become 3 automatically. We see that the braces we wanted in some terms are missing. For example, here I have said en minus 1. Here it appears without these braces. This is because braces are delimiters in LaTeX. We now want to tell LaTeX not to interpret these braces. This is done by putting a reverse slash before the braces. Let me put a reverse slash here. Let me also put a reverse slash here. See that? Now we have the braces here. Similarly, let's put it here also. Here. Okay. And here. Let's save this. Okay, now we've got that. We will now show how to create large brackets in equations. For example, here, these brackets are very small. The way to do that is using what are known as left and right commands. So let's come here. So the equation is here. Okay, the way to do that is to say k slash left this. Okay, let me just make it clear. On this side I have this, so let me put right. Let me compile this. See this, it has become bigger. We can do this also with square brackets. I've got square brackets. I can also put braces. Only thing is I have to tell LaTeX not to interpret. So I put a slash brace. Let's compile this. See this, braces. When we have one equation split into multiple lines, we will have to put only the left on the first. For example, here we have the bracket here, we have the bracket here. I want to make this slightly bigger. So let me do that here. Suppose, for example, I want to put a left bracket here, and here I want to put a right bracket here. Okay, we compile it. So it comes and says complaints forgotten right, because I opened it here, I didn't close it in the same equation. The way to do that is to use what is known as slash right dot. That means don't worry about the right hand side. Similarly here we have to say slash left dot. Don't worry about the left here. Let me exit here. We recompile it. So this is taken care of. Now suppose I want to push this little inside. I can always say slash h space 1 centimeter. We just do that, shift it. So this has been shifted, this has been aligned. If you don't want this, if you want this plus sign to come inside, let's do this here, put a plus sign here. Okay, this plus is inside. Now this is nicely done. All commands that work in between the dollar signs also work within the align environment. But for the ampersand symbol that is used for aligning of multiple equations, all commands that work in the align environment also work within the dollar symbols. Nevertheless, there is a small difference in the way some outputs appear in the align environment and in the running mode obtained with dollar. This can be illustrated with the integral mode. So let's come here. Let me delete these. So I have this statement here. Let me take this. Okay. Okay. Let me not do this here. Let me do it here. The integral mode includes the term, this integral. Let me close this, otherwise align will complain. So what I have done is the integral mode includes the term, this integral. Note the sign of this integral sign and the size of this integral. This is a lot bigger, this is a lot smaller. Such changes occur also in the case of fractions, sum and product, to cite a few. There is one other thing that I want to tell before completing this tutorial. Align environment does not like blank lines in between. Suppose, for example, I create a blank line here. It comes and says paragraph ended before align was complete. If you really want a space, leave a percentage which tells Latex that it is a comment. Recompiling, it goes through and you get all the text as before. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thanks for listening. This is Kannan Maudgalya signing off. Goodbye.